Gold started with a bang in the month of July. So in the previous month of June, there was a doji candle here, right there, which is a basically sign of indecision. The market was not decided whether it wanted to go up or down. The market was obviously bullish, but then it reached a certain level and certain conditions which made it bearish as well. Now at the start of this July month, the market started a little lower and then started to go higher, and so far on the weekly time frame, the market has been able to close above the previous high of this doji candle, basically the high of the June. So which makes it like, a very bullish scenario, and this entire doji candle is kind of eliminated if we look at the current scenario, the current situation right now. So the market is bullish, but there are few conditions and few scenarios and few things which we must monitor, we must look at before we proceed into any kind of trading opportunities. So stay tuned and we'll go through them. Right, so we will start with higher time frame as usual. So what I've done, I have created some of these levels and some of these things. I've prepared them for you. Hopefully, they will be useful to you. So remember what I said before. If I open um, the trend lines, now there is a trend line, and this trend line is still effective. So if you have not gone through my previous analysis, you should do that. This trend line is multi-year, multi-decade trend line, which is running from here from 1980 all the way to this level here, and this is the second point touch in 2011. The market touched that, showed a reaction in the month of June and the previous months as well. You can see that market was coming down, it was going up and then coming down. Then now in the month of June it went up, then came back down. In month of July it has gone back up, and because the month of July is still not over, it can still come down. So make sure that you are aware of that. um, it can rise above the previous high, it can create a new all-time high, but the month of July is not over, and even after that it can still come down because this is multi-decade trend line, and it cannot just it will basically show some effect of it, I'm expecting at least some of 1 month at least to have a bearish candle somewhere around here. Now that can be July, that can be August as well. So this is what you should be aware of. Now let me close this and then continue with the rest of the analysis. Now from there, let's go to the weekly time frame. On weekly time frame, what we can see is that market is running in a kind of consolidation at the moment. Very clear kind of consolidation here between these two, and it has reached the previous this high here. The all-time high is around here, but it has reached the previous high, which actually can you can interpret this as a head and shoulders or whatever. In our FCP methodology, we do not look at head and shoulders pattern because they are not measurable. We use WNM patterns, which are measurable using Fibonacci. They're mathematical and they're predictable. So what if you want to look at like a head and shoulders pattern, we have this, then we have this head, and then we also have another right shoulder coming up. So this is also a possibility that we have, but we are very close to all-time high. So remember, any push above this previous high, this high here left shoulder can actually push it to the new all-time high, or it can try to retest at least previous high. So make sure that you are aware of that as well. Now if I look at the daily time frame, sorry, even before that, let's look into a different way of looking at the things, which is basically using Bollinger Bands. Now Bollinger Band is something like this. Usually when the market is about to reverse, the market is about to take a turn, it usually does something like this. It goes out of the Bollinger Band, falls back down, it tries to go towards that price again and then falls down, and then it tries to go back towards that once again, and then it kind of creates a triple top or double top, those sort of thing, and then it can start to fall down. So that is still a possibility. You see, as long as we still have those scenarios available, there is still a possibility that market can actually start to fall down and have a correction. It will only become further bullish if it starts to go beyond this particular level here, the previous shoulder. Now this pattern has been available to us in different formations, in different ways, several times. If you look at the past, the market usually tries to go beyond the Bollinger Band, then comes back down and then comes back up around the same location, creates a kind of double top, those sort of thing, and falls down. And similarly here, this is a triple triple high sort of thing pattern. Came back down, went back up, came back down, went back up, and then started to fall down. So this could be the formation of that, right? They could be triple top or they could be double top here, right? That is a possibility here. If I look at the daily time frame, now, in daily time frame, we do not need Bollinger Band. There are certain scenarios which have happened. Before we proceed into that, let's look into what has happened in terms of trend lines. Now, in trend line, what I said, the market was going to go up and then fall down. This was a very important trend line here, because if this was going to get broken, let me change a different color. If this was going to if this was going to get broken from here, then market was going to fall down to the support. The market went up right into this, fell down, but it never was able to break through this, and in fact it started to go back up. So this trend line here is still valid, and this is still showing its effect, and this is the one which is actually creating this sort of consolidation, right? So this is what we have here. This is the trend line which is running here. Let me open that trend line once again. So this is the trend line which is still running. There are two more trend lines. This is a trend line. There are two more trend lines. One is around here. This was tested last week, and there is a support line here. Now, why this was broken is simply because this was a liquidity pool here, and there was a pattern here. So let me show you. This was turning into a liquidity pool. So this was a trend line. The market came down, collected the liquidity, which I mentioned before, and then started to go up. Similarly, we have now this trend line. We have this trend line here, which is becoming a liquidity pool. So the market can come down here before starting to going up, or just can come down to collect the liquidity. So make sure that you are aware of this trend line and this trend line. These two are very important trend lines that we have got. Okay. Now we have this third trend line, which is for a bullish movements. So before we look into that, let me go through some of the patterns which are available here. So we have this special three-step W pattern, which is basically 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now we have a necklace sort of pattern here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then market went up. Now we are at completion of this complex W pattern here, right there. Okay, so we are exactly at the place where it completes, so the market can actually fall down. It showed a little impact, but there wasn't enough. It can still work out. Otherwise it is going to affect it will try to go beyond this particular level, and if it does that, then it will go and try to retest at the previous high, or some little bit higher than that, somewhere around here. I'll show you some of those levels. Those levels are those refined levels are available in premium analysis report. If you want to order that, you can find a link to that in our video, in the description of this video, or you can contact us on Telegram. But I'll show you some of those levels and some of those zones here in this free analysis as well. Now if I go to the 12-hour time frame, on 12-hour time frame, we had this sort of triangle sort of thing. The market went above this, closed above. Let me zoom in. Market closed above, performed a retest, and it closed above, right? So this is still bullish. Everything so far is looking bullish. So what we have is that, personally, what I will do is I will look for is basically I'll monitor this structure here, and if the market gives me further confirmation, I'll look for a short, but I won't hold that for short for a very long time, right? I will take one step at a time, because we are nearly all-time high, and it can try to challenge the previous all-time high. So market is very bullish at the moment, so I will only try to take very short-term shorts. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Now let me open some of those levels. Okay, these are not premium analysis levels. Premium analysis levels are much better and much more refined. If you are interested in ordering a copy of that, please find the link to that service in the description of this video, or you can contact me on Telegram. But these are good enough. Now, I will also show one of those things, which was, sorry, not this. I'll show you one more thing in here, which was this. There was a gap available here, which I presented last time, which was around 2411. That has been filled. The market came right into that and has filled that. And this was also present on premium analysis. Now there is a new gap available around 2380, which was left around CPI news. And I'm expecting market to fill that gap up at some point in time. I'm not sure when it is going to do that, but it is going to, as it has come back to fill this one, it can come down to fill this one as well. There are several other gaps available here at the bottom here, which are unfilled, and so the market can at some point in time can come down. Remember this trend line, this is going to be very important, and these zones and these levels are going to be very important for you in terms of give me just once again, these zones and levels are very important for you to find your profit targets or resistance levels or support levels. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this analysis, found this useful. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other traders and trading communities, right? And you are most welcome to join our Telegram group, which is Vikinsa FX. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great time. Thank you for watching. Find and follow us on these social media channels.